Alright, today on the table I got the Springfield M1A National Match and the SCAR 17. Now they are configured quite differently. The SCAR 17 I'm rocking an ACOG, a single point sling, and for ammunition I'm shooting 168 grain Hornady AMAX. For the M1A, there's no collapsible stock. It's got a 22-inch barrel. I gotta double check that. It's got peep sights. And for this particular weapon system, it's going to be using 155 grain Hornady AMAX, the police ammunition. This is actually a beautiful pick for this particular rifle. I'm 99% sure back when the M14 and that was around, they were chambered in 147 grain, so the 155 should still be able to utilize the ranging on the wheel, so the dope should line up with that ammunition. I've shot both rifles, just a couple of quick rounds to get a quick feel for them, and they definitely have different advantages. For example, if I was walking around, this is what I'd want, the SCAR 17. It's a lighter rifle, the stock can fold up so I can sling this on my back. It's got a nice short barrel, plus with the ACOG, it gives me the ability to pick out targets at pretty long range. It's got the ballistic reticle inside the ACOG, and that's pretty nice too, because then I don't actually have to estimate the range. I just gotta line up my crosshairs on my target, and as I line up the shot, once I find the crosshair that fits, well, that's the one for the proper range, then I can shoot. This is a soft recoiling rifle. From a fixed position, this is the rifle I would pick. Plus with the open sights, I can put down a lot more fire faster. It may not be quite as accurate as I could do with the ACOG, but that don't really matter. We're talking about a 308. Let's be realistic. Where on your body can you honestly take a 30 caliber round moving at plus 2,000 feet per second and be okay? It doesn't matter. Any hit, hand, even if I were to take one to my finger, I'd be like, okay, it was a stupid idea to be out here. I'm probably just going to go home now. So, sorry dude, I'm out. A 308 is a devastating round. All you got to do is get one anywhere on the silhouette, and I count that as an effective hit. Yes, there are places that are more effective than others, but that doesn't really matter. Plus with this 20-inch barrel, it really whips them out there. Now this is the national match, like I said, so you do get a stainless steel barrel. Now, I believe the person that owns this is ultimately going to put a scope on here, so, like, the 55 grain really don't matter because of the dope. Myself, on an M1A, I won't run a scope because of everything's set up perfectly for iron sights. Your head just automatically lines up in the right position. If I run a scope on here, I'd take a saw, chop out this section, put some elevators on here, and make it so I can bring up my head position, because with a scope, cheek weld is everything. If you have to bring your head up like this and you're not getting a consistent cheek weld, you're never going to get a consistent accuracy. One really nice advantage about the M1A is you can run a stripper clip on the magazine. Or you can run one on the gun itself. And it's hardened steel, so you don't have to worry about it wearing out like with a stripper spoon. A stripper spoon will eventually stretch out and then they don't work so good. You got to beat them back into shape, or you throw them away and get a new one. Now the attachment for the stripper clip is actually off of this because you have to take it off in order to put on the scope mount. But you just put your stripper clip on there and then push the ammunition in. So if you run out of loaded magazines, as long as all your ammo's on your stripper clip, you can still feed this rifle relatively quick. Now I do believe they sell, well, this is a military rifle, they have to because they're big on stripper clips. So there's probably a stripper spoon that I could get for this. There's gotta be. But I still have to feed it into the magazines itself. In actual changing magazines, the SCAR definitely has an advantage. It goes right into the rifle, just like an AR. Very easy. Your M1A, they rock in. After you get good with the system, it's not bad, but trying to just do it without really knowing what you're doing is a little tough. Another disadvantage to the M1A is there's no bolt release. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You just grab the charging handle and work, but I still like having my bolt release. For example, with the Skylar, I'm changing the magazine, I come up with the mag, and as I go over the top, I hit the bolt release with my thumb. So this hand never leaves my fire control. So I drop my mag, go in with my mag, and hit my bolt release. My hands are right where they need to be, and I can go to work. The Scar definitely has an advantage because you can switch over the charging handle from either side. It's terrible on this side, because I always do a mag wall hold, unless I'm trying to shoot really fast, but even then I can't get the right arm extension just because there's not enough forend. As you notice, that comes right in line with your thumb. But it's not a big deal because I can just switch it over to this side and that's no longer a problem. Yeah, you gotta go under to charge, or over to charge, but still not that big of a deal. The M1A, the top of the action is open. Now I've never seen this happen, and there is a drain hole on the magazine, but apparently they can fill your mag up with water, and it slows down the action and causes malfunctions if you're in heavy rain. Is that a realistic problem? I mean, we'd have to be talking about a metric ton of rain to be able to fill this magazine faster than it can drain out. So, I don't really consider that an issue. The safety on the M1A, it's not... How do you even explain this? So the idea here is you're supposed to put your finger in the trigger guard, go forward with your finger, and then you go back to shoot. It's just weird to me, and if you have gloves that can be an issue, so I usually just take this hand and flip it off, and then I go on. So coming off of the safety is a bit more not difficult, not ideal. With your Scar, just, with your single point sling right where your hand needs to be, your thumb is already on your safety selector. So if you see something, and then you just go into action. It's really easy. Pretending that the Scar didn't have an ACOG, it's already got range that you can dope in on your rear sight, which is cool. Now the Scar uses a twin peep. So you got your big peep, and then you got your little peep. Nowhere, and I mean this, I looked, unless I have some sort of learning disability, nowhere in the owner's manual does it talk about the two different peeps giving you different elevation. But it does. I tested it. You most definitely get an elevation change. So you'd start on your big peep, and then when you get to 200 meters, you'd flip to your small peep, and then you dial the rest in on the wheel. That's not ideal. It should just be a single peep, and then if they want to go to 100, you should be able to dial down more. Which is how the M1A is set up. Now this starts off 0 to 200, I believe. Yes, you do start off as a 200 meter. I actually think this is in yards, which is awesome because we're in America, so it should be in yards. But you start off at a 200 meter 0. You can get one click down, but I don't really think that would do much. Or 200 yard 0, and then you just range up from there. But it's just a single peep, so there's no confusion on it. Nobody on the internet's going to jump on there and argue, oh, you're using the peep wrong. But I guarantee, even in the comments of this video, someone's going to hop in there and tell me, no, the Scar has two different peeps, one for better view or night. But no, it's not the case. I checked it on paper. If you don't believe me, go to the range, go between the two peeps, pull out a little tape measure, and you'll see there's in fact an elevation change on the Scar. I can't remember if I said this yet, but the Scar is a lighter firearm. Now you would think with this big nasty muzzle brake on there, it would be equal in recoil to the M1A. The Scar is not. This recoils differently. Now this isn't bad. It's not like, boom, oh man, that was so horrible, I don't want to do that anymore. But you get a lot of sight jump. Like it comes back, this bolt carrier is so heavy, it's like, boom, and then it comes forward and boom. So it's really hard to stay on target. The M1A, with this heavier rifle all together, you got a much, much lighter bolt carrier. I bet you this weighs maybe, I'll have to pull them out and throw them on a scale. I won't probably do it in this video, but I will eventually in a video. Probably weighs maybe 25% of the bolt carrier of the SCAR. Nice and light. I mean, look at the difference with the firearm jump when I let go of the bolt carrier. No doubt there's some jump, but this is a much softer recoiling firearm. Now watch the SCAR jump when I let go of the bolt carrier. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of forward thrust and a lot of backwards thrust. It throws us around a lot. Without a doubt, from a fixed position, this is the rifle I would choose. Much better for that type of shooting. I can keep the sights on target and just hammer out rounds. I strongly recommend if you're getting the national match, because I've seen them both with and without a hood, get the one with the hood. This rear sight has a texture on it to try to prevent it from glaring. This is really difficult to see through. The person that's blowing this to me actually already had a scope mount on there. You could still use the PEEP, but it cut out so much light that it made it next to impossible. So I just asked him, I'm like, hey, can I take off that scope mount until I'm done with testing? Now I can actually pick up the front sight pretty good. Before, there just wasn't enough light coming through the PEEP. If it had a hood, it would be a different story. I think it'd be much easier to pick it up then. No, this one can't take a hood. Your M1A does have this flip-up thing, which I don't actually quite know what it's for. And then inside, there's supposed to be a cleaning kit. I've seen people put it on their shoulder like this. I don't know if that's what it's for. I don't think so. The SCAR, you do also have a storage space back here. You just push out this pin, and then this pad comes off. Put like a little bore snake or something in there if you'd like. So out of these two rifles, which one would I pick? Again, it depends on the application. If I know I'm going to be walking around with the rifle, without a doubt the SCAR. I can adjust the stock, it's lighter, it's already got sling mounts for a single point sling or a 2-point sling, so I can have it in a single point sling and just hanging like this, and then if I need to use my hands or carry something, I can go to a dual point sling and throw it on my back. For the M1A, you just got a 2-point sling, which is fine. Because I would use this in a fixed position if I was not going to be moving around, like an ambush or some sort of building security. Just sling it on your back, and then when you get to where you're going, go down, put it on some sort of rest, and that's where it sits. Deer hunting, if you're not walking, this would be pretty ideal. I suspect the accuracy I'm going to see, because these, just the way the stock is set up, they don't really tend to have good accuracy. I suspect this will be somewhere between like 1.5 MOA and 2 MOA. With my SCAR, it uses a short stroke piston system. This handguard is free floated. It doesn't touch the barrel or anything anywhere. And you've seen my shooting videos before. This can do sub MOA. But that kind of accuracy really don't matter when you're behind a 308 unless you're shooting like plus 500 yards. 2 MOA is more than sufficient for getting shots on a silhouette-sized target within 500 yards. In a 308, you don't really need to hit any particular area of the silhouette. You just need to hit it, and there it's game over. They both can take 20-round magazines. With most of the testing I'm going to be doing, I'm actually going to be shooting 168 out of here, just because that's the ammo I have available. So the dope on the wheel isn't going to quite work out, but that's okay. Now when I return the rifle, I'm going to put a permanent 0 on with the 155. But like I said, he's going to wind up putting a scope on here anyway, so that really doesn't matter either. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you'd like to check out any of my other videos, click on the links up here. If you'd like to help support the channel, I got my Patreon. I also got affiliate links in the description down below. Just by clicking on that link and doing the Amazon shopping you're going to do anyway, I get a little kickback for it because you went there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.